Welcome to the Weekly Hijack.
Hello, everyone.
A little somber.
Yeah, that was...
Wow, this is Face the Raven we were talking about
nice
for
title.
Doctor Who. Yes, very nice title. Wow, yeah, that was unexpected. Well, I mean, unexpected in the sense that...
I was thinking... I wasn't expecting Clara to leave till the finale, honestly.
Yeah, that was... I mean, when there was a scene that I turned to everyone's like, ominous foreshadowing? When she, looked at the psychic right after hearing about how the Death Raven thing worked.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to happen this episode.
No.
Way to break from convention, I guess.
And you're like, don't take the timer thing. That's a horrible idea. Except she's right. It's something the Doctor would do.
It is.
I mean, I think what's so interesting with her in this season is that she really was just trying to be, and they did this some last season, she was just trying to be a mini Doctor.
Yeah.
And she didn't mind, and she was perfectly fine trying it, and if it didn't work, it didn't work.
But I think even more, she was the good Doctor.
Yeah.
He was always the one, which in
good
past
cop, bad
season
cop?
It wasn't. Yeah, I like this Doctor in that he's much rougher than the other Doctors have been. He's much more okay with some people are going to die, and maybe I'll have to kill some people. I mean, he doesn't, but
he flirts with the idea.
Yeah, and he is angry a lot more and more violent. Though he doesn't necessarily follow through, but he talks a big game.
Yeah.
And she's the good one. She told him, to...
Like, let's do good Doctor, bad Doctor. Can I be a good Doctor? We've talked about this. Your face. Which actually, it was not just throwaway line necessarily.
Well, to throw just a question about how Clara has been acting this season. What do you think brought that on? Like, last season, she fought with the Doctor quite a bit. Yeah, and there was a lot of her doing the pawn thing, sort of trying to balance her normal life with her Doctor life. And this season didn't have all that, any of that. She was just there along for the ride, and she was really take thrills. Do you think that, I was wondering tonight if the loss of Danny might have even influenced that somewhat. I mean, you didn't really go into it.
You did get you did get, I can't remember. There's a lot said in those last scenes with her and the Doctor, which were great. Mm-hmm. But, she basically said she'd been throwing herself into things over and over again. And maybe this was, until she could go and do some sort of saving thing that just didn't work. Almost, not that she was seeking that, but she was just she was freed from all the different things. In many ways, she was separated from lots of the different things, just like the Doctor separated from most of his normal moorings. I mean, she still teaches and stuff, but there does seem to be a side of her that is just I
want to do something really meaningful for someone. Which, I guess you could even tie that to her time with Matt Smith, where he was constantly trying to figure her out, and she had some sort of deeper purpose. There's certainly an amount of adrenaline to having had such an important role before and wanting to do that again.
I wonder, because the whole the fighting she had with the Doctor last season was largely about that he was rough and hands-off and not helpful. And it's almost like she decided to just throw her lot complete with him. And I mean, he almost followed her. He almost became more. Yeah,
following her lead.
He kept moving that direction. And then at this, and that's what was so great about her ending was she was like, this is the Doctor doing all the talking, which is always what happens when the companion, I mean, he didn't say hardly anything. She just
this is what you need to do.
No one else needs to suffer from this. This is my fault. Which I enjoy. It's not just oh no, it was a dumb idea. She's like, look, I chose this. I'm going to deal with it. You don't be evil over this. You're going to be lonely. You don't do that well, which we've seen multiple times. And what she knew from Matt Smith. Yeah. She found Matt Smith when he'd been lonely for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, that is very true.
Well, a version of her. I guess that was the 1800 version.
Yeah, that's true.
But still.
That's true. I mean, from his perspective, he's known Clara for a very long time. Yeah. Even if he was separated for however long he was on Trenzalore, he's known Clara a long time. So this is...
and she's been, in many ways, probably the most just companionish in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, probably next to Donna in a sense. Donna was his buddy.
Yeah.
Rose was a love interest. Martha was a wannabe love interest, but really wasn't.
And the Pawns were family.
Pawns were family. But yeah, this one was like if you look in like old school companion terms, she's not unlike Sarah Jane in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Which is remarkable because, like, her time with Matt Smith was, people, we would complain a lot of times that she didn't have much of a character.
Yeah.
And
even this season, she didn't do a lot. She didn't have much arc, per se, but she just felt like she was kind of an anchor for the Doctor in some ways, but in a much more subtle way than last season.
Yeah.
She was just always like, hey, you save people. Or, in this one, she's like, hey, you need to help this person. He's like, okay, let's go do this thing. And, like, she's constantly pulling him back into being Doctor-ish.
Do you think he figured out because when he was in the TARDIS and he was studying the tattoo, all of a sudden he got very somber. It's like, he's gonna die. There's not much. Do you think you recognized at that point what it was? That it was this Raven thing.
I think he must have known it was that sort of chrono lock, as they call it.
Okay.
I don't think he obviously didn't know who caused it or why.
Oh yeah, obviously. The details. Maybe he was going off the look to see who had put the chrono lock on him and if he could be released from it.
And when it's very interesting, as much as he talks a big game, he knows it's a trap to put this key in. He's like, I'm just going to do this, because I'm going to do it eventually anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the end, I'm a grumpy old man that does good things.
Yeah. Interesting, too. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is actually the first modern companion to actually die. Because Rose was locked in another dimension. Martha wound up with Mickey. So
in Unit? Are they, or some sort of...
I think they were like freelancing.
Freelance something, yeah.
Yeah. And then, poor Donna.
Donna had the worst ending.
She yeah.
I mean, it would have been better if she died.
Yes. No, it would have been better for Donna if she had died. But...
she was Dr. Donna. I mean, we kind of have, Clara was kind of like Moffat's Donna in some ways.
In some ways, in terms of the companion terms.
Yeah, and they'd play the Donna being like...
The Pawns died.
Well, okay, of old age.
Of old age. As much as any person dies, they were time locked. That's the only reason that kept them away. I mean, people have good arguments for why that was kind of silly, but,
it works for me.
In the context, I understand.
Because you just want to anyway. But I mean, the last 5-10 minutes with Clara kind of doing her spiel and stuff was good stuff, and spoke volumes about what Doctor should or shouldn't be in her own mind.
These companion departures, unfortunately or not, they've never really been a surprise. Somehow the press always seems to get out about when that's their last season. I mean, kudos to them. I think it was really gutsy and really more impactful because we didn't know when it was coming. We probably assumed that it was going to be the
honestly,
finale.
the whole time I was just thinking, well, they're going to do this thing, but they're going to get him out and then do the kind of double whammy the next episode. Like, I just figured, like, he has this transporter, she'd get transported with him, and then the Raven had to travel all next episode, trying to get to her, and so there'd be still a time thing, and have a horrible, but no, we're
done.
And it's just interesting that it was very, maybe it's happened before, but she just kind of, she stood and took it, it was, the Doctor didn't, she's like, I'm going to take this, and went out there, and the Doctor just was, all right. Even old school companions, there's not many of them that die.
No, yeah.
There's Adric. I know the famous one.
Yeah, from the Fifth Doctor's companion, one of them. No, there's not very many. I mean, I know there's a couple. There's been a couple, and Adric is one of the most famous.
I do say, I really enjoy Ashildr.
Yeah. Ashildr?
Ashildr, yes.
Or is it Ashildr?
I always mess it up. Those
it always makes me think like it's a title, like I'm a person who carries a shield.
Yeah.
A shielder. Yeah. Like she's a shielder. Like my job is to hold a shield. Every time. That's all I ever think.
She's been a very interesting character, but she's very much a wild card.
Yes.
She doesn't really dislike the Doctor, but she doesn't care for him particularly either. She's kind of in this weird middle ground of just, I support all the people that you leave behind. Mm-hmm. And I just make deals with people. She's not evil, but she's kind of opportunistic, but she's trying to protect it. I mean, she's just a very interesting gray area.
And I like that they had a subtle character like that.
Yeah.
So, another one of these
not a master
or River
Missy.
Song.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Missy and River Song have both got the corners on the crazy
Yeah, she's very low key.
She's very low key but at the same time very self assured.
Yeah.
So she knows what she's doing.
And nice callback to the The Last Will and Testament. I thought maybe we'd just drop that thing.
Yeah, when I was trying to remember when that had been brought up before.
In episode 1.
The first, yeah.
When she thought he was going to go die.
What's-her-face brought it.
Oh, yeah.
With Davros.
Yeah. Missy had it.
Yeah.
Missy had it, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a tricky season in some ways because they've been doing all these two-parters. I mean, they set up the whole hybrid thing, but you haven't really thought much about it. And then
I'd read somewhere this is going to lead into be sort of a 3-parter finale, which I think this one still sort of stands alone from the rest of it. I mean,
it's certainly a setup.
It's a setup for it, yeah. Which I guess that means I'm still kind of hoping that we'll hear some more about the Sandmen from last week's episode.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, not this season.
Someday.
Somewhere down the road.
Okay.
I think that'd be cool.
Until about the end, I was really feeling it was kind of like a CSI Diagon Alley sort of vibe I was getting.
It was. It did make me think Diagon Alley.
The refugee camp's kind of a neat thing because you got all these aliens on Earth all the time, but they're like, look, we're just trying to hide. We don't want to do anything with Earth.
Mission Men in Black.
Yeah.
I saw somebody.
The retcon is awesome.
Last week's was the Sandman thing. I saw somebody last week post about how scary that was. Like, they've added that up with the angels and the other. Like, I thought it was cheesy.
I thought it was really creepy.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was creepy. I mean, I thought they looked. I just thought it was ridiculous to think these things turned into your.
Well,
Night of Living.
I won't claim I understand why it works.
I know, but I wouldn't put them in the same creepy, scary category as the angels or the silence. I mean, the silence are. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting for last week's Sandman thing. I was surprised that somebody thought they were as creepy as those.
I could totally see it, but
I guess
So anyways,
sleep in my eye is not as frightening.
I think there's a gross out factor there that helps a lot too.
this was interesting. This was one of those. This was a much quieter episode than some. Not a lot of running around. It was kind of a long, just go and talk to people and figure things out. So a slow burn sort of thing till the end.
I'll tell you what, for a refugee camp, it had a very creepy atmosphere.
Yeah, I did like, and I like the how you could see behind the masks of the aliens and stuff.
I did think was funny that they bothered to make holograms for themselves when the entire area is, I guess, protected by a distraction field anyway.
But the distraction field makes it so that you see everything like you see it, I think.
So even...
I'm not sure they see...
It's easier on the makeup department.
Well, now I don't know if the aliens see themselves like that, or if it's just because we're seeing it from the Doctor and Clara's point of view.
Well, I guess that's possible.
It's supposed to make you... it's supposed to fit in with your expectations.
But then why would you be expecting such a creepy alleyway that looked like it came from like early 1900s? Instead of
I don't know. Yeah, it looks cool, but yeah.
Yeah, that's, again, Doctor Who logic.
Yeah.
I guess. We'll just go with that. But
and maybe sometimes they go out into public to go get stuff.
I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. Just in case. It's
I did wonder where they got medical supplies from that she was that had been stolen, supposedly.
But it was kind of cool when they're hunting down the lost streets. And I mean, it was kind of
all the random creatures around.
Yeah. Well, not even find the street. It just doesn't,
how to find it. Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's. I always enjoy stuff with misdirection technology.
Yeah.
Like Amy Pond's house and things like that. But, all right, well, next time looks like we've got an interesting... like
a very doctor-focused psychological deal.
In a labyrinth.
And who's in charge? Who's doing this? I mean, that's the big question.
It is a question.
Well, there's some Missy thing. I mean, that's the only big name I know of, unless they pull some random person out that I don't... I mean, I haven't paid attention to anything, rumors or anything, so I have no clue, which I prefer at this point.
Yeah, no, it seems to me like we've touched most of the big Doctor Who enemies from, because the new show's been around for quite a while now. Yeah. This is the 9th season, so they've brought back a lot of the old villains. So I don't know who else.
Now we do have way back in the first episode, or I guess the second part of the first thing, when Missy had idea she was going to try to do something with the Daleks, like she had some plan.
Yeah. So
that could come to play, and there's got this whole hybrid thing running around that we don't. Whether it's just a Ashildr or whether there's going to be something else.
Yeah, I know. It's funny, though. It doesn't really feel like a Missy plan.
It doesn't.
It's not insane enough.
That's true.
So, we'll see.
She's been more friendly this season than enemy. She's
been a frenemy, yeah.
A frenemy, yeah.
And this end thing doesn't seem, at least the way the preview is made, doesn't seem that kind. It seems more.
It doesn't seem like her MO.
No, it's not as goofy.
And why was she asked? And she wouldn't be wanting the last will and testament. She already had it in her possession. She wanted it.
Yeah. And she would have made a bigger show out of it. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, if she doesn't, I mean, I guess you could still next episode come in with the song and dance, but
yeah, it's possible, but we'll see.
All right,
we're going along, but this was a momentous episode.
Yes.
But until next time, we will be crying with you. This is Tim.
This is Nick.
Bye bye.